Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Well, guys, we had a historic snowstorm blanketing Chicago area, thousands without power, and we had hundreds of flights canceled, and perhaps a foreshadowing of what's going to be a common theme during this winter. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour at times. The storm knocked down trees and power lines across Chicago, leaving hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses without power, and the storm also forced airlines to cancel hundreds of flights. So I remember reading before that during the last grand solar minimum that Atlanta basically had the climate of Chicago. So, it's just an idea of what's coming. And of course, many people have their doubts about the grand solar minimum, have their doubts about everything, the data that we're given from every source, which we need to question everything. And we're still seeing conflicting data, we're still seeing conflicting statements, but we can see what's around us, and what's around us is ever more severe extremes of weather. And there's some videos here for you guys to check it out. So it's definitely, it feels like it's going to be a tough winter. And when you look at it, one of the keys and things to watch is the ocean circulation in the North Atlantic, and it's at its weakest for 1,500 years, and at levels that were previously did trigger a mini ice age. And there's been many of these periods, and technically we are in an ice age. We have glaciation, so we're in an interglacial period, but we're still basically in an ice age. And so when you look at this, and this was the whole theme for the movie The Day After Tomorrow, basically there's something called a gyre that flushes fresh water out into the Atlantic, and it typically is running in one direction, and it switches direction, and then the Gulf Stream, that warming effect that runs, as you can see here, goes on up and actually warms not only the United States into the New England area, but also Canada, and then also Eastern Canada, and then also the UK and Northern Europe. And so without this flow, those areas are going to get really cold. And it's pretty fascinating, the science behind all this. But this right now is at the lowest that it's been in 1,500 years. And so that's going to create rapid cooling, basically, if it keeps going like that. And we have severe weather alerts issued ahead of Storm Diana for Ireland. And the Irish Meteorological Service has issued wind warnings for Wednesday, November 28th. Ahead of the approaching Storm Diana, a yellow warning is in effect nationwide and orange for the southwestern counties. So for Ireland, it will be wet and windy tonight, and Wednesday will turn very windy with strong to gale force and very blustery winds. And so orange wind warning is for these counties: Cork, Kerry, Waterford, Wexford, Galway, and Clare. It's going to be very intense, and we have very heavy rain and damaging wind for eastern New South Wales, Australia. And Australia, is going through a lot of tough weather. They really have. They had a tremendous drought going on. So much of their livestock and crops have been ruined, as has so many other areas as well. So they're looking for 2 to 4 inches of rain, with isolated falls above 8 inches possible in some areas. So, some areas are in extreme drought, and this is going to get pounded with water. And we've seen everything. I mean, we've seen people able to swim in the desert, and then now we see the desert covered over in snow. It's crazy. And we're seeing all sorts of optical illusions, I guess you would say. Who knows what we're seeing up in the sky, because we're seeing so many different things up in the sky. And this is beautiful. This is a halo display. And this is out of Huntsville, Utah. Beautiful photo. And going from a beautiful photo to something that is, excuse me as I close all these conversation tabs that always keep popping open, something that's disgusting and very, very sad. And this is all garbage, and this is off the coast of Honduras. And this is one of the areas that's one of the most beautiful areas normally on the planet. And look at the filth and garbage just piled up. And this gentleman, if you want to go ahead and click it, I'll let you guys go click it on your own, watch the video. He jumps right in there with it, braves it, and this is off the coast of Honduras. Very sad situation. And so we have 4 water spouts formed near a beach in Thailand. Check that out. A little unusual to have that many coming out, and that's starting to remind me again of the day after tomorrow. Do you remember that? There were those tornadoes just popping up everywhere. And that's basically a tornado over the water. So this is in Thailand. This was November 25th. And it's very rare to see that many in one spot. It lasted for 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty amazing. Now, talking about the Honduras photo, basically Honduras is blaming Guatemala, let me see if I get this to refresh and come up, for creating an environmental disaster. And look at this. This is all trash. And then also some have blamed Cuba as well, and Haiti as well. So this is something that's happening ever increasingly in the Caribbean and in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's horrible. And don't you know this is not helping the effects of the red tide, which was in Florida. It's also down in Brazil. So we're seeing worsening environmental disasters all over the globe, and a lot of them are caused by humans, not necessarily caused by carbon emissions, but caused by humans and caused by corporations as well, and economic conditions. It's really sad. And as we've been saying, things need to change. And in China, we have this sandstorm, and so this is a 300-foot tall sandstorm that engulfed a city. As you can see, pretty spectacular. Again, something that looks very biblical in origin. 300-foot tall wall of sand coming at you. Pretty scary and very hard to drive through, to say the least. And so we've had so many asteroids, close call asteroids, this year, within a lunar distance. I think we're at 57. And so this is on Yahoo. Large asteroid packing 50 megatons of force might come crashing down on Earth in 2023. And that's not all. So a large asteroid could be heading towards us in the very near future, barreling through space on a high-risk trajectory that might cause it to collide with Earth. And this is out of the Express, which is citing NASA sources, revealing that the space rock could end up engaged in not one, but a staggering 62 different potential impact trajectories with our planet, each of them waiting to sling the asteroid towards the Earth over the next 100 years. And this is asteroid 2018 LF16. And this space rock was observed by the astronomers on June 16th by JPL NASA, who calculated its orbit and its potential to become a threat to the planet. Calculations show that it could collide with our planet on 62 different dates between now and 2117. And the first one comes up 5 years from now, on August 8th, 2023. Other potential impact dates in the near future fall on August 3rd, 2024, and August 1st, 2025. So, very ominous. And, automatically that gets me thinking of Deagle, again, because, they show the depopulation, although I think that what Deagle is definitely, they're talking about World War III. So, and this was what we were just talking about in New South Wales, Australia. Basically 1 month's worth of rain in just half a day. That's amazing. But we're seeing that more and more. And then just checking out what's happening. We have a 5.5 just occurred in the North Atlantic Ocean. We have another 5.5 east-northeast. That's the Coral Island in Mexico. You can see the swarming going on in California, and we actually have a 4.0 in Avenal, California, as well as a lot of swarming, and we've been waiting and wondering to see when we'll see larger ones out there. We have a 5.0 around Fiji, a couple of 5.2, and that one's a 5.5 Papua New Guinea, so 5.2 and a 5.5 Papua New Guinea, 5.8 New Caledonia, and a 5.6 close to Fiji. And so, going on to some animal hijinks, we have a bear that actually saunters into a police facility on two legs like he works there. He actually opens the door up and lets himself in. Check that out. Is that really a bear or a guy in a bear suit? Look how he did that. He just opens that door right up and says, I'm coming in. And he's going to probably hit the vending machines. He's looking at them. Oh yeah, he's checking out the chips and the donuts. Pretty wild. And out of the BBC, this Siberian unicorn walked the earth with humans. And so it was a giant rhino that might have been the origin of the unicorn myth, according to this source, who survived until at least 39,000 years ago, much longer than previously thought. Known as the Siberian unicorn, this animal had a long horn on its nose and roamed the grasslands of Eurasia. And evidence shows that he may have died out because he was a picky eater. Scientists say knowing more about the animal's extinction could help them save the remaining rhinos on the planet. And then we have Holy Cow. This cow, his name is Knickers, is pretty big. It's 6 foot 4 inches tall and weighs the same as a family hatchback. It's so big. It's been saved from the chop, quote unquote. 7-year-old Holstein Friesian, more than twice the size of the rest of the herd. Look at him. Wow, weighs in an incredible 3,083 pounds. So the butchers say that this big boy would produce about 1,400 pounds of trimmed, saleable beef, enough to basically have 450 cuts of steak and 370 kilograms of mince. Now they typically weigh in at 1,500 pounds and stand about 4 foot tall. So this is a big boy out there. So we have very strange sky phenomenon over Denver, Colorado. And why is this chemtrail floating under the cloud? And I've showed you pictures like this. And yet another one. So what is up with this? This is just bizarre. It's even on Strange Sounds now. And I've showed you, several pictures like this before that have been photographed, and it's just a curious phenomenon. So what is really causing this? We don't really know. Why is it just dropping kind of straight down? What do they have in it? And the other question is, how is it going to affect us? So talking about cold weather crops, and something that packs a lot of nutrition, so healthy for you, is kale. Kale is really it's just such a healthy thing to get into your diet on a regular basis. And so depending on the climate that you're at, basically about 8 weeks before first frost is a good time to plant this. And neighbors here say that they could get it to grow pretty much year round. And it is so nutritionally packed. And I'll let you guys read the rest of this. But yeah, think about your cold weather crops, because you might be planting cold weather crops in summer soon, the way things are going. So my friends, as always, please do thumbs up to support the channel. Go ahead and subscribe, click the bell for all the notifications, and share with as many people as possible. Let's wake them up and get everybody on the same page, understanding what we're facing. May you guys always be blessed with abundant peace, love, health, and wellness. Join me tonight at 8 o'clock for a live stream, Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be going live. Look forward to seeing you guys then. God bless and namaste.